What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast. My name is Devin, and the question of the day is, would you rather have the traditional superpowers or powers, I guess, like based in magic? Uh, while magic does sound pretty cool, I'm still going to have to go with, I think, my answer from like a while ago. I think having Thor's powers would be just super cool and overpowered, so I'm going to go with Thor, like traditional powers, specifically Thor's.
That's a good answer. My name's Riley. I think I would have to go with magic, just because of the like unlimited possibilities that there are. Like in future movies, we get to see like ice magic and just other types like monster magic. I don't know what's going on there, but I think that magic has to be the best option. Even though like Thor would be really cool to have his powers, I think that having like the ability to create things out of just nothing is really cool.
Cool.
But like lightning, so
So we're talking about magic here because this movie is Doctor Strange, and this one opens up with some hooded figures killing a dude and stealing some pages out of a book.
they cut his head off.
Cool. They straight up cut this dude's head off. I mean, they don't. They show it in shadow.
Yeah,
Because they can't get too dark yet.
I was surprised no blood. Like actually,
Yeah. You think there would be?
they cut his head off.
So a yellow hooded figure and like a yellow suit gives them hot pursuit, and they have fight in a wacky Inception looking type place.
It's like a dimensional shift. It's really cool.
Yeah, like buildings are going all sorts of different directions, and
I think this has to be, in my opinion, the best special effects in the MCU so far.
It looks pretty cool. I mean, with we'll get to more of it later, but yeah, no, this is a pretty strong opening. The bad guy who stole the pages, Caecilius. I don't know if
I think it's Cassidius.
Caecilius.
Okay, sure, whatever.
I don't think there's a T.
Okay.
I don't know. I could be pronouncing it wrong too. He's the bad dude, and he stole these pages. And he manages to get away. Then we cut to Dr. Stephen Strange. He's preparing, like he's in surgery while arguing about like when this album came out with another doctor. So it shows, he's pretty good at surgery. Like he's pretty good, but it also shows how like confident he is, having a man's life in his hands while just bickering about music.
Yeah, I think this is really a good introduction to the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting
very
to
much
see
like
him.
Tony Stark.
Yes, absolutely. Super like pompous, like knows it all.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of does. I mean, he kind of does know it all.
He can back up a lot of it, but I think he has a lot of the same issues that Tony does.
Except for the drinking part.
Except for the drinking part. So then right after that surgery,
Well, in the middle of it.
Is it in the middle?
Yes.
Christine comes in and tells him that there's another doctor at this hospital is going to pronounce this dude dead, but she's like, I want you to come take a look at it. He takes a look at it, and he's like, what do you see here, Steven? And it's like, I see a bullet. There's a bullet lodged in this guy, like right next to this guy's brain, and this doctor's going to pronounce him dead, but Steven thinks of this like possible way that they can remove it.
It was a lead-coated bullet, meaning that there was lead being put into the bloodstream, causing the guy to go into like, causing his organs to fail.
Right. So and they wanted to harvest his organs, so I'm like, that probably wouldn't have worked. So they get him into surgery, and Steven, like, just free hands, like, removes this bullet. But what I found kind of cool was, though, like, as he's doing it, there's another doctor that has a watch, and, like, everything is quiet. And I imagine, like, when you're in surgery in a serious situation and like everything's quiet, you can probably hear just about anything. Anything can distract you. But yeah, so he does it, saves the dude's life.
Super impressive. Like
Um,
this guy, they thought he was dead,
yeah,
and then Doctor Strange.
we find out why he did it like right after though. It's like it's not that he really cares about the guy or the family. It's like it'll look really cool on his resume. Like it'll look at me. I removed a bullet from a guy's brain. Right afterwards, we see this kind of like flirty, kind of like play fighting relationship with him and Christine, who's like an ER nurse.
To me, this is the most forgettable love interest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
I didn't remember her name in the beginning of this movie, which I think is unfortunate because Rachel McAdams is a pretty good actor.
well, when she's brought up again later on in the universe, I didn't realize who she was.
Yeah, I remember seeing her in the next movie. I was like, oh yeah, that's who that. Yeah. So, unfortunately, yeah, pretty forgettable. And they have this conversation here that again, like, reinforces his arrogance, where he's like, basically, he's like, I'm too good for the ER. I want to be up doing my own surgeries.
Yeah.
He goes back home and he's like getting ready for like this party or something.
I think so. He's asking for.
And once again, it shows like how just like, I don't know what the right word is, but just like swimming, like, dude, this dude is swimming in wealth. He's like has no connection with like or empathy with other people. I think it shows that when the dude has like 10 or 12 watches that are like probably all like super expensive.
Yeah. It's impressive how wealthy he really is.
He just has them for funsies.
And he's got like a car with he's
really
got a sports car.
Yeah, really nice car.
Oh yeah.
And he's driving way too fast to get to the party.
He's a doctor. He's very precise in his movements.
And he's going like across the yellow line. I'm like, bro, this dude don't give a. This guy.
Don't give a crud.
And he's also on the phone.
Yes.
Talking to like, I guess.
I think it's his receptionist, maybe.
Something like that.
Or no, it's his friend Billy, the guy who was arguing with him in the surgery about the song.
Oh, yeah, and he's giving him like surgery like ideas of like which person he should go after next. The first guy, he
spinal injury.
Yeah, spinal injury. He fell from a high distance inside of like they say in like inside of a metal suit. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That's roadie. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that because it sounds too hard.
Rewatching all these, I did not realize how connected they truly are.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
They're all mentioned within the others, which is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, the continuity between each movie. He gives him a couple other options. I think he brings up an old lady, and he's like, that also sounds too hard. He's like, you gotta think of my reputation. And then he gives one where he's like, oh, that sounds interesting, about a girl who gets struck by lightning or something like that.
Yeah, I think she had a pacemaker or something, and she got struck by lightning.
As soon as he says that, oh, that sounds interesting, he like, I don't know, he hits something like.
Well, because it starts raining,
right?
And he asks him to send over the CT scan or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was looking at his phone while it's raining, and he's in the wrong lane.
Does he hydroplane or what does he do?
I think he turns back to get into the other lane, and he gets
overcorrects.
Sideswiped. Well, he gets sideswiped because there's a car that he's pulling over onto.
And then he hits the guardrail and then flips over and goes off the road down the hill. And
to me, it looked like he was hanging with his head in the water, but like then it shows the actual of him hanging in his car, and he's nowhere near water. So I was very confused at that point.
Slow mo. It was like doing some slow mo stuff.
Okay.
and it crashes hard, and like his hands are destroyed.
Oh, his hands go through the dash.
Mm-hmm.
That's so bad.
And he wakes up and he's like freaking out, like what they do to my hands. And the irony of this, like he says, is he probably could have did a better job of fixing his hands.
Yeah.
And
then he goes into months and months of recovery.
Yeah, PT and other desperate like medical surgeries that really just don't do anything.
Well, I think they do. Like the one he was putting a splint through his vein to like put more blood into his fingers so that they would recover faster. So like they would have done stuff, but he's like, well, is it possible? And then they're like, yeah, but it costs a lot. He goes, I just need possible. I can get you the money. So he's running through all of his money very quickly.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's like doing them, but like his hands are still like shaking, and like he has barely any control over anything. Like he can't even shave.
Yeah.
And he just, I think she says something. I think Christine says something like, you usually like spend money as fast as you can get it, but like now you don't have any money.
You're spending money you don't have.
So yeah, the PT is hard to watch. And this guy gets him. Well, Doctor Strange hears of a guy who broke his spine and he was able to walk in like a couple of months. So the PT guy like goes to look for a file on that. And then when he's back home, Christine shows up, and like at this moment he's like full of hatred and like sadness, and he just takes it all out on Christine, and she's like, all right, bye. Like she's like, I don't want to watch you like just destroy yourself. So
I don't blame her.
Oh no, I don't. It's tough to like really blame. I mean, like I guess like he's in the wrong because like of the things he said, but like I kind of understand what he's going through, and like I understand that she's like, all right,
mind,
I tried to help you, and you don't want it, so I'm gonna leave.
In his mind, there's nothing that he can do, and having people around is just irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which really sucks.
True.
He goes,
but he only thinks, that's the other thing too, is he only thinks his life has meaning when he's a doctor. So yeah, he meets the man who supposedly broke his spine and was able to walk, and he's playing basketball, so he's doing pretty well.
It's impressive. I mean,
how'd he do that? That's crazy.
Complete severing of two vertebrae.
C6, C7. I don't know.
One of those.
Sends him to Kamartaj in Nepal, and so Steven goes there, and he's like, a total fish out of water, doesn't know where anything is, and then he gets robbed immediately.
Yep.
These guys like beat him up and take his watch, and that's what I don't remember is like, did his watch get damaged in the crash, or did it get damaged in this fight? I don't remember.
I don't know, because after this fight is when we see it broken, but it could have been broken before.
I feel like it would make more sense from like a storytelling perspective to like have it happen during the crash.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
I don't know.
They never mention it after the crash.
But another hooded figure. There's a lot of hooded figures in this movie in the beginning.
Mysterious.
Ooh. Shows up and beats the crap out of the three robber dudes, and gets the watch back. And we find out this guy, his name is Mordo, and he's a student of this ancient old magic. So he tells Steven to forget everything he thinks he knows and takes him to meet the Ancient One in like this old palace. And
you get to see him like really being cocky.
Oh yeah.
Steven thinks he knows who the Ancient One is.
Yeah.
As soon as he walks in.
He thinks it's like an old dude with a long beard, and it's really just
some bald lady.
This bald lady. She's pouring him tea. At first he's thinking it's all just about he's trying to like rationalize it in his mind in like a medical sense of like, so you taught him his cells to, reform themselves and yada, yada, yada. And she tells him that it's like, yeah, when she tries to tell him about like in a surgery, when you fix somebody, are you the one doing the final steps? And he goes, no, it's the cells that heal themselves. And she goes, imagine harnessing the full power of the mind and the body the soul, I think she says, and to completely heal any injury. Yeah, to make yourself better. And she's like, and you're like, you're talking about believing in like the soul, and he's like, what?
He pulls up a book and starts looking through it.
Yeah, she shows him like a acupuncture and like MRIs, and he's like, yeah, I've seen this already. And she's like, imagine if you guys, it's like man only has like snippets of like all these possibilities when we can show you everything. And he doesn't believe it at first. He's like very much a man of science. And then, so she punches his soul out of his body. And so he's in what's called the astral form. So it's your soul so it's literally an out-of-body experience. Because
I kind of want to know, like, because we know Deadpool and Moon Knight have these split personalities, so multiple people
Who's
in
Moon Knight? Who's Deadpool?
We know Deadpool. We don't know Moon Knight.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, though. Like, if you were to punch them out, like, who would come out?
Would multiple of them come out?
I really hope Mark and Steven would pop out.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good thing it's not the last time we see this ability, which is pretty cool. Yes. She explains to him while sending him through like this trip of like all these sorts of like different dimension looking stuff. She's like, there's more than the material world. Multiverse.
Yeah, dude, they mention it this soon. It's insane.
Pretty sick. So, but after seeing all that, she denies teaching him and literally kicks him out.
Yep.
So Steven just sits outside
for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Dude, he's out there for 5 hours, banging on the door, begging them to let him back in.
Mordo convinces the Ancient One that Caecilius or whatever is still out there. We're gonna need some more warriors, and he's like, "All right, come on in." So they let him back in, and he gets a lesson from the Ancient One. And we meet Wong, the king. Right now, he's just kind of the guardian of the books. Since the last guy, got his head chopped off.
He's the new librarian.
And Steven is rapidly progressing in like the knowledge of these books. So Wong, as he gives him like higher level books, he's like, I would know if anybody were to steal these books. And he's like, and I would.
They would not make it out of here.
Yeah, they would not make it out of this library. He's like, okay, good to know.
He then starts stealing books.
Yes. Cut to Caecilius doing dark energy stuff. He worships a being called Dormammu, who's part of the dark dimension. And his whole goal is to make the universe, all the dark dimension, to eat it up.
So in my mind, he's like an ego, right? From
Guardians
of the Galaxy.
Yeah, in his plan. Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah. So is Dormammu like ego but better? Like, did Dormammu
I don't know.
do something correct, and that's why the dark dimension even exists? Or is he just an old magic?
I feel like he's just an old dark magic.
Okay.
So we cut back to Steven, and he's still struggling with spells, specifically the sling ring. So the Ancient One gives him a little push, and they go to Mount Everest, and she just leaves him there.
Yeah.
So it kind of forces him to open up a portal by himself.
Well, she tells him most people can probably last about 15 minutes without anything because he doesn't have anything on. He's in his like.
I think she says like 30 minutes before you die, but then 15 before hypothermia like sets it.
And she goes, "You'll probably go into shock within 2."
He opens up a portal and he goes through. It was a funny line though, where Mordo shows up and she's like, "He'll be back," and the Ancient One goes, "He'll be back any second now." Mordo goes, "Oh no, not again." So I wondered, did she do it to Mordo?
That could be. Or does she do it to everybody who struggles?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, that was another cool scene too, where he's like, "I can't do it. Like, look at my hands. I still can't have control of this." And so Ancient One calls on another master and he doesn't have
he's missing a hand.
He misses a hand, and he can still open up a portal. So it's like not your body. It's. She says like it's surrendering control.
She told him to imagine that it's like a river,
mm-hmm.
and you're trying to fight the current while you should be flowing with it.
Yeah. You just got to imagine the place that you want to go. A sling ring, if nothing else I could have in this movie, a sling ring would be so cool.
But like, it doesn't actually have any power. You have to have the tingle.
The tingle?
Yeah, like you have to have the innate ability to use it, don't you?
Well, I mean, here I think it just clearly shows that you just have to practice.
Oh. I will.
Some people.
I will become a wizard.
some people, yeah, can harness it more quickly than others, I would imagine. But I think this part shows the set, the effects, and the sound design are pretty stellar in this movie. With the opening of the portals and the sparks like on the ground and stuff, the effects with like the different different old weapons, the buildings like morphing through each other and like going up and down and sideways and everything.
I love the portals and all the magic in this movie,
mm-hmm.
especially because like it has that almost like have you ever lit what is it, steel wool on fire and then spun it?
And
taking a picture of it, or like a long exposure picture.
Have
you seen any of them?
Lit sparklers before.
Well, steel wool, when you light it and then you swing it, it catches on fire because of the air hitting it. So it like slings these sparks everywhere.
Sick.
And that's what this reminds me of, and I think that is so cool. And I don't think they do it in future movies. I think it's more controlled. At least I wasn't looking for it. But like in this movie, I totally noticed.
Yeah, I think it's less detailed in other movies, probably because a lot of other stuff is going on.
Show me this. I want to see this more.
Okay. While Wong listens to Beyonce,
yes,
Steven, using the astral projection that he learned, is stealing books right behind Wong. And so she obviously figures out that like Steven is progressing not only like intellectually with the spells, but like his skills with spells are growing pretty fast because he's already able to like use the sling ring. He's able to astral project. So she takes it a step further and takes him to the mirror dimension. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on here, like from the Doctor Strange comics. This is basically a realm that's kind of like it's a distorted version of ours. And in this realm, nothing in the real world happens. Yeah, so you could have a fight that completely blows up everything, and it wouldn't affect the real world. It's a good opportunity, a good place to fight threats. Yes. And he's like, "What threats?" Mordo teaches them to fight, and they talk about like
ancient weapons.
Yeah.
With magic.
Who can harness magic that they can't. It's too strong.
And it chooses their wielder.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So
Mordo has 2 of them.
Yes.
He's got the staff and the boots.
The boots can
boots.
the boots basically give him like double jump.
He can create like steps underneath him.
Yeah. And he also has the staff that like extends, and it's like kind of like a whip type thing. It's pretty sick.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Steven has been emailing Christine, and she has not been responding. So he steals a book about time that he was told not to read.
He wasn't told not to read it. Nothing. Wong said nothing in. Where are we at?
Well, I guess he was told not to read it yet.
Yeah.
Because it was the Ancient One's own collection.
Yeah. Nothing in here was
forbidden.
But only like higher level people could understand it.
He also, at the same time, finds the Eye of Agamotto. That's what it was. And he decides to use it on an apple. And he also uses it to restore the pages that were ripped out of this time book. And he starts reading about Dormammu and the Dark Dimension. And he also opens up like a rift in time.
Well, yeah, he goes back, and if they, like they said in the movie, if you change the timeline, like he was gonna stop time and keep the pages back in the book.
Mm-hmm.
If you did that, that's not correct. So it creates a
rift,
break.
like a break or a rift, like kind of opens up right there, and then Wong and Mordo like bust it and like, what the hell are you doing? Because like Mordo's like very much following the rules of natural law and like the rules of this world, and he's like, you cannot mess with time. And Wong tells him about like messing with any sorts of like breaks in time could have serious consequences. And Steven's like, they should put that warning at the beginning of this.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Like there are warnings after every spell, but it's after the spell.
So then Wong gives some information to Steven. He says the Avengers fight the physical enemies, but the sorcerers protect the sanctums and the magical world. And their biggest enemy right now is Dormammu and his zealots. Because he wants everything to be the Dark Dimension. And Steven's like, all right, hold on. I just wanted to heal my hands. Like, I'm not
any of this. Fight no war.
I don't want none of this. Which also, another thing that I think is kind of weird, is they just kind of let Steven wear the Eye of Agamotto. They just kind of like let him wear it for a little bit.
I think he's the first person to open it. Because it seemed like they were very surprised that it was even opened.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
So I think that could have been another one of his like magic items.
It's possible.
Chose him or something.
Yeah. But as like Steven's saying, like, no, I'm out. I'm not doing this. Caecilius blows up. Like he goes in through like one of the does he open a portal or what's he do?
One of the doors in the
portal doors.
Sanctum. Opens.
Yeah, these portal doors are sick. They can go all around the world and to like other sanctums.
Which one was it? I can't remember. London?
Which one are they in?
London.
Which one are they in right now?
No, which one got blown up? It was the London
one.
Right.
Wong says like London's under attack, and then they go to this one, which is I can't remember which one they're in right now.
So London gets attacked.
Right.
Blows up. Steven gets thrown into New York. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like which one are they in right now?
The one they're in right now is the Sanctum of where are we at? What's the name?
Kamar-Taj.
Yeah,
so they're there
Kamar-Taj.
in Nepal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then London one gets blown up, and then Steven gets like thrusted or like
blown up into another portal.
Yeah. So now he's in New York. And
starts looking around trying to find somebody to help him.
Yeah. Caecilius is on a mission to take out like all the sanctums on Earth, and they say there's like I don't know what they say, like 4 or 5 around
there's 4 of them.
around the world.
Yeah.
And he's trying to take all of them out. Because if there's no sorcerers, then he can do whatever he wants.
Well, if there's no sanctums, then the protection that they put on the world goes away and the dark dimension can come through.
Yeah. Has a fight with Caecilius. Another object chooses him and saves him. Dude, the cape shows up, and like this cape saves him like 20 times in this movie from death.
Oh yeah. Well, Caecilius was about to like stab him through, and the cape was like, nah.
It like keeps blocking him. I love this one moment too where Steven's trying to run away because like he sees this axe on the wall and he's trying to run to the axe, and like the cape just keeps pulling him back, and it's like this like full body trap that like he picks up and throws at Caecilius, and like it locks him down, and like his arms are in place and his legs are stuck to the ground, and he in this moment Caecilius tries to convince Strange of like coming to his side and like joining him in eternal life in the dark dimension. And he's like, no, because one, you're a murderer, and two, look at your eyes, dude. Like, you got some creepy things going on.
Also, he threw one person into the desert.
Right. His other two zealots, he threw one into the desert, and he threw one into the jungle. Then Caecilius starts laughing, and he's like, you don't have your sling ring anymore. One of Caecilius' zealots gets it, goes through the portal, and stabs Steven with
spear,
a shard of the mirror dimension, because they're able to harness that, which is like, whoa.
Yeah, that is insane. Super scary, like actually.
Super scary, because they can control the place that is like the last resort for the sorcerers. So Steven's bleeding pretty bad at the moment. He's trying to like walk away. He's opening up. He gets it back, his sling ring, and he's opening up.
The cape attacks the guy's face.
He's opening up a portal as like the cape is like beating the crap out of the zealot. So he opens it up to the ER where Christine is, as the cape's like beating the crap out of this dude. And Caecilius is still locked up. And so Christine helps him into surgery. Steven passes out, and he astral projects. And he, like, talks to her and, like, where you should put the, like, this, the right shots and everything.
Has to be super scary. Like,
yeah, because he's essentially a ghost to her.
Yeah. This guy's dying on the table, and then he shows up out of nowhere.
He's like, Steven, what are you doing? He's like, how are you doing this? And he's like, oh, I'm separating my soul from my body, but I am dying. So, the bad guy also astroplanes, and they have a ghost fight in like the, I guess the entire hospital, and like they're just kind of like all their actions are like just barely like affecting the real world. And like they go through Christine at one point, and she's like, what the hell?
They also run through a vending machine, and all of the chips
and
fall
knocks
off.
down a bunch of chips. And as like Christine, what's it called?
I can't think of it. What is it? They go clear.
I gotta look it up.
The revive machine. It's like Call of Duty, right? It's just the revive machine. I cannot think of the word. She takes whatever it is. You'll figure it out, Devin. I trust you. She takes whatever it is and like does 200 volts on his chest, and as she does that, the other guy goes flying in the astro world, or the astro projection area. And Steven like goes back into the real world and like tells her, do it again, up the ante and do it again. And she's like, that's totally gonna kill you. And he's like, no, trust me, I'll be fine. She does
defibrillator.
A defibrillator. I knew that word at one time in my life.
I don't know how this works. I don't understand.
Ups the defibrillator.
Right. No, I understand that part. I know she's like shocking the crap out of his heart, but like, I wonder why it gives him like energy.
It sends a shock through his entire system, so I assume it probably.
Right, but this is his soul separated from his body, right?
it's his consciousness. I mean, if you shock your body, you're shocking your brain, which then affects your consciousness.
I just wondered like how it relates to each other. Like, I'm not saying it can't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like how does it relate to each other?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somehow
it gives him like nuke powers.
Yeah, he blows the other guy's brain out.
Yeah, destroys his astral form and like fries his brain and his body, and the cape is just kind of just floating right next to the body.
Then Strange like wakes up on the table.
Yeah. So through that conversation with Caecilius though earlier, Strange confronts the Ancient One and is like, "You've been drawing power from the dark dimension for your immortality," and Mordo is concerned, because like he is fully like has full faith in like the Ancient One and fully expects her to like tell the truth and yada yada yada.
Make the right
and he's
decision,
like,
do all
"You've been
this.
lying to me this whole time."
Yeah.
Another fight with Caecilius and the Zealots, this time in the mirror dimension.
Well, they were about to blow up not Hong Kong.
New York.
Yeah, New York. They were about to do it again.
Right.
And he
puts it in the mirror
dimension. In the mirror dimension right before.
And yeah, Steven thinks he has the upper hand. And they're like, we can control this place. So then the Ancient One shows up and
she has the Dormammu scars
she's
on her
drawing
forehead.
Power from the dark dimension. And yeah, Mordo's like, "What the heck?"
That's not cool.
Caecilius gets Steven's sling ring, and so then as I don't know, I thought this part was also kind of weird. Mordo and Steven are kind of just like on the sidelines, literally just like, "Go Ancient One, get him, go fight," and then she gets stabbed because it's like a 3-on-1.
Yeah.
And then she gets chucked off the building and like falls through like one of them. It's like a bus stop. It's like made out of glass, and
she falls.
She
it was
crashes
off a
through.
building. It was like the top of a building, not the top, but like the awning of a building. She crashes through the awning.
So she's like all bloody and has a stab wound. Steven, Mordo, where are you at on that one?
The funniest part was this isn't funny, obviously, because she's gonna die. But I was scrolling through the movie and I hit the first part was I'm the immortal one or like whatever, and then immediately afterwards I saw her fall through the glass. I was like, "Oh, that didn't." Are you sure?
Not so much, I guess. Oh look, he's flying. So Steven takes her back to Christine. She's having a heck of a day. She's learning about astral planes and like all in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So Steven and the Ancient One have a talk on the astral plane. And they have a really good, I think this is a really solid conversation. Yeah, and then this is the clip that we have for you guys.
You have to return to your body now. You don't have time.
Time is relative. Your body hasn't even hit the floor yet. I've spent so many years peering through time, looking at this exact moment, but I can't see past it. I've prevented countless terrible futures, and after each one there's always another, and they all lead here, but never further.
You think this is where you die?
You wonder what I see in your future?
No. Yes?
I never saw your future, only its possibilities. You have such a capacity for goodness. You always excelled, but not because you craved success, but because of your fear of failure.
It's what made me a great doctor.
It's precisely what kept you from greatness. Arrogance and fear still keep you from learning the simplest and most significant lesson of all.
Which is?
It's not about you. When you first came to me, you asked me how I was able to heal Jonathan Pangborn. I didn't. He channels dimensional energy directly into his own body.
use his magic to walk.
Constantly. He had a choice. To return to his own life, or to serve something greater than himself.
So I could have my hands back again. My old life.
You could. And the world would be all the lesser for it. I've hated drawing power from the dark dimension. But as you well know, sometimes one must break the rules in order to serve the greater good.
Mordo won't see it that way.
Mordo's soul is rigid and unmovable, forged by the fires of his youth. He needs your flexibility, just as you need his strength. Only together do you stand a chance of stopping Dormammu.
I'm not ready.
No one ever is. We don't get to choose our time. Death is what gives life meaning. To know your days are numbered, your time is short. You'd think after all this time I'd be ready. But look at me, stretching one moment out into 1,000, just so that I can watch the snow.
And then she disappears.
She did.
It's not snowing.
The immortal one, huh? What a joke.
The ancient one, not the immortal one.
Well, didn't you tell me in the beginning she was like, I'm immortal or something like that?
Well, she's like, I'm super old. That's basically what she said.
And now you're dead. Old people.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so she said I couldn't see anything before, this moment, so she can only see Steven's reality, or I guess the possibilities of his reality. And I can't help but make another comparison to Tony here, when Tony realized that his work and his technology can be used for the greater good. This is the same thing here. Steven could totally just, fix his hands, be with Christine, and just, live a life totally unconcerned with the magic world. But like Tony, would he be able to rest?
That's the question, isn't it? If right now he was like,
I just give up. I'm done.
I'm good. You know what? I'm just going to use magic for my hands forever. Like,
he could totally do that.
Yeah.
But what she says, she convinces him to learn the final lesson. It's focusing on something way greater than any of our individual selves.
It's not about you.
Yeah. So Steven has a very sad goodbye with Christine. She kisses him on the cheek, and he leaves that life as a doctor with Christine, and he's gonna go save the magical world with his new best friend Wong.
and Mordo.
Yeah, Mordo.
Bruh.
Final fight in Hong Kong.
Yes.
The last sanctum is there, and Wong says, "Do not let anybody step foot in his sanctum." Then Mordo and Doctor Strange show up, and everything's destroyed.
It's all gone. It's already over.
Yeah, the dark dimension's already here. Like, it's opening up, and I'm like, Wong, what?
What did you do?
But
we get to see the eye of.
Oh, and Mordo's
Sauron
still.
The eye of what?
You just say Sauron?
What's the eye?
Mordo is still pretty pissed though, feeling betrayed.
Oh yeah.
And we see, so Caecilius and his zealots are still there, and they look at Strange, and Strange's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Break the laws for the greater good. Yeah, dude, he opens up the eye of Agamotto, and because you can see it, and like even Caecilius says, he's like, no. So Steven starts reversing time in this spot, and he starts like putting everything back to the way it was, reviving a lot of people in the process, reviving Wong, and Wong wakes up and he's like, he's like all confused, and Steven goes like, I know, breaking the laws of the natural order, and he's like, don't stop now. They trap the Caecilius and the
in a
Zealots
wall.
within buildings as like things repair itself.
But the thing is, Caecilius still like broke out of the wall.
Right. No,
Which
he's
shows how
he's strong.
absolutely strong he is with magic.
He's strong with the dark side.
Okay, Mr. Vader.
Oh, I was going for Darth Sidious, but okay, it's
I
fine.
don't know who that is.
Have you not watched the Star Wars movies?
Sure.
Bruh. That is the biggest bruh. Anyways, so Steven understands that it's kind of fruitless to battle Caecilius and all of them down here. So he just goes straight up to Dormammu into the dark dimension.
Well, yeah, Caecilius like punches him and completely stops time.
Right. No, yeah, he stops the reversal and it's just still. Everything's just like which is pretty cool. Like how everything and it looks pretty cool too, like how everything's still in time and it's all CG. So yeah, Steven's like, I'm just going to go to your boss. He flies up to Dormammu and he's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain, and Dormammu immediately kills him.
But he comes back.
Puts Dormammu in a time loop, and like on the third, or no, it's the second one. He's like, "I've already said this. What's going on?" And for like those who don't know, Dormammu is just this big, giant being. When we only really see his face, but like we see like it is a whole body like below, because like when he kills Steven one time, like you see his hand come up and like smash him.
Oh, I never knew that. I thought he smashed him with another planet.
He does that too. Yeah, I want to know how many times that like Steven dies, because
I counted
like 15,
at least 20.
At least 20, but like I want to know how many we didn't see. Eventually, like Dormammu was like, okay, I'll just spend eternity killing you then. And then he's like, and Steven's like, well, if I spend an eternity dying, then the world is safe. However many deaths that happens, eventually Dormammu was like, all right, let me out of this. I can't do this anymore. It's like, what do you want? And Stephen Strange goes, leave my world alone, take your zealots, and never come back, and then I'll break the loop. So that's what Dormammu does. They get back, time starts to reverse itself again, and then Caecilius starts to like turn all purple and like chalky.
He like starts burning from the inside.
Yeah, like a purple like fire.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is this? What's going on? He's like, you're about to go to the dark dimension.
You're getting what you wanted. Everlasting life in the dark dimension.
So Dormammu and Caecilius. Well, Caecilius, I think probably like. Well, I don't know if he dies. I think he just goes to the dark dimension.
I think he's getting like tortured for
life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for eternity. Dormammu leaves. All the damage to the sanctums around the world are reversed.
I don't think it's every sanctum. I think it's just this one.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
What's your evidence? Show me.
So the evidence is that they reversed time on this one, and not the others.
How do you know he didn't reverse time the entire
world? Because
world?
he'd have to turn days back.
How do you know he didn't?
Okay, all right, whatever.
How do you know he didn't?
Who cares?
How do you know he didn't?
I'm not gonna fight you on this.
Because you're wrong. How many times did Steven die? Wong laughs for the first time. And because he says something like, yeah, they should really put the... Well, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird because he already said this once in front of... He already said this once in front of Wong. And he didn't laugh at all.
Well, he's laughing because he's already said it. He said it about the books, and then he told Caecilius as he's flying away, he's like, yeah, you really should have read the end of it.
The warning.
That's where the warnings are.
Yeah, Wong laughs for maybe the first time in his life. Who knows? Mordo is going down a dark path because he tells Steven and Wong that you guys all broke the natural order. There's too much magic in this world. It should only belong with its rightful users. And he's like, he just kind of leaves.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, bye, Mordo. I guess you're gonna.
I'm kind of upset we don't get to see this Mordo in
Oh, he's coming back.
future movies.
He's coming back.
I hope so.
There's this more pressing stuff that happens first.
Yeah.
How many? You're just gonna keep being wrong. After credit scene. So yeah, the main movie's over. That's kind of where it ends. Of Steven just kind of being the Sorcerer Supreme on. Yeah, he's the Sorcerer Supreme.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. If he was, no.
He has the. Yes, he is. What are you talking about?
I don't think he is yet. I think there's like a people have to vote on it.
No, they don't. What are you talking about?
They don't have to vote on it?
No.
Okay.
He defended He's defended New York's sanctum. He has the time stone.
Yeah.
He already has the relics.
Okay. He's
now the Sorcerer Supreme.
Whatever.
He took. You ever get tired of being wrong?
Yes.
So after credit scene, Thor, New York. What's Thor doing in New York? What's going on there? What's going on? He's drinking beer with Steven. And Steven just basically tells him, you and your brother are here on Earth. I keep a watch list of dangerous individuals throughout the multiverse. Your brother is definitely one of them. And Thor goes, that's an astute observation. He's like, all we're doing here is to get my dad, and we're going to leave. He's like, oh, so you get your dad, and you'll leave promptly. And Thor goes, promptly. He's like, all right, I'll help you. What's pretty cool about this, though, is Steven looks exactly like he does in the comics. Like, he's got the right, like, blue garment. He's got, obviously, the time stone, the cape. His hair's got, like, the kind of white wisps in it. The goatee is kind of, like, perfect. He's got the yellow gloves like he does in the comics, which, why does he have yellow gloves? Who knows?
Because magic is scary to touch. That's all.
Magic gloves. Then after that, we cut to, I don't remember his name. He had kind of a funky name, but I don't remember it. The dude who, the spine who could walk after, he's like doing something in his mechanic shop. Mordo walks in and starts like monologuing to him about like, you don't deserve that power. He takes
he straight up just takes his magic away.
The spinal dude tries to swing at him with like a
crowbar.
Well, yeah, with the crowbar and whiffs like a total nerd. And then Mordo just like does a little like grabs his like chest and like just takes out his power. Which I don't know how do you figure out to do that? Like had he always known, or did he just learn how to like take somebody's like magic? So the dude's paralyzed again, and
Mordo just leaves.
And he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "There are too many sorcerers." And I'm like, Mordo's going down a dark path. I hope Mordo comes back to like it doesn't seem like he's coming back anytime soon though, because like in the movies after this, and then even in Doctor Strange's next movie, even that after credit scene, there's a lot of other stuff going on. He could come back in those movies, but we just don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one was
the movie.
This one was a little different, mainly because of like the magical aspect. It's like not your traditional like superhero movie, and that's why I think I got to give it props, because like it's not your typical superhero movie. It's like kind of weird because of it's magic. I think they do a solid job of introducing a lot of information in this movie. Like, there's a lot of rules to magic. There's a lot of different like aspects, weapons, spells, and I think they do a solid job of like introducing it all. Like I said earlier, the sound, the effects, the all of that is on point. Steven's character development is pretty solid.
I think it's a really other than
Mordo. Other than really the Mordo and the Ancient One, like unfortunately other characters are kind of forgettable, like you said. I mean, Wong will come back. But like, yeah, Christine is like, what happened to her? But other than that, I think what I did. Oh, and then another thing I thought was pretty cool. It's not your typical like, big CGI bad guy. I mean, it is, but like they don't do the typical like fight.
Yeah.
Where like one of them blows up and dies. Steven like uses his thoughts and his mind to outsmart like somebody who's legions stronger than he is.
I mean,
but you can't beat time.
That's kind of how he fights, though, isn't it?
Yeah. He knows that sometimes he can't win, so he's just gonna. Does he over rely on the time stone? Sure, but who wouldn't?
Oh yeah, he does.
But
Why doesn't he ever create another circle in time, like a time loop?
Like a time loop?
Yeah. I feel like there were definitely some times in the future that he could have used it.
True. I don't know. I think we'll get to that when we get there.
Okay.
I have my thoughts of like why he does certain things that he does in like other movies. But yeah, this one was okay. I'd probably give it like I think it's just above average. So like a 6 or a 7-ish, probably 7.
Okay. I really liked this movie. I really love when they introduce new characters.
Well,
like
when they do it well.
Yeah. Yeah, I should add that. Yeah. And this is like the 7th or 8th new character like solo movie that they've had.
And we're going to get more.
Yes. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, this was, in my opinion, this was one of the better solo movies.
Yeah, like an introduction origin story movie.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Captain America and Iron Man are always going to be top 2.
Sure.
But this has to be like 3 for me.
Ooh.
I mean, name another one. Name another introductory movie that is this well special effects and has a good story.
Like an introduction to a superhero or just a character?
In the MCU.
Infinity War is pretty good.
Who does a solo movie that introduces one character? How does Infinity War have to do with that?
Wait, depends what you mean by a solo movie, I guess.
I mean a movie about one character and their name is in the title.
Oh, I got you. Mean. I
mean, there's Black Panther, Black Widow.
I was gonna say you're putting Black Panther above this one. I mean, you're putting Doctor Strange above Black Panther
by like 1.
By like 1. That's crazy. Anyways,
whatever. No, I mean, I think it's a really good movie. So I was gonna give it like a 7 or an 8, honestly.
Which one though?
Like an 8.
Bruh. I think it's not bad by any means. It's just
however, the love interest is very forgettable. Because she's only in it like 20 minutes. I guess 2-hour movie.
I guess it's like you should probably praise a movie that tries to do something different.
Yes.
Than like kind of doing the own form. Even if it fails, if it tries to do something different, I think there should be props there. And this I don't think failed by any means. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, this has been the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast, and we hope to see you next time.